tie the maker wa say no. So why you careful? How are some of these Muslims preachers no knows how to speak? Anyhow, or more polish or more message, no. So why you careful? You will trust them. You will believe them. Example, any video we say. Sheikh Hafiz Buhari, it will lease media platform hobby. Preach Islam. Obe kan sembia for Prophet Muhammad who has say ya. Me pe say munyina mutie bi anyhow na obe present asem no. Na ye the almost sources no ebiem. Lease media platform has say na occur and that day no. It wasn't a debate. This host no is not there to debate Hafiz Buhari. They can only ask questions and Hafiz Buhari will tell them about Islam. And we all know, said Americano, some of these preachers, no, they know how to present a message. Just because something is sounding good, doesn't mean it's true. Then I will advise each one of you, try your best to learn something about Islam for your own protection. Said ye beya obia intimin dada. Mama yinte Hafiz Buhari and some of the can was a video we say mono. Ye na analyzing and semono. Intentionally, me kasam from the first time we say no. Me mana but throughout so the be mobeti your kind in contest. Ye pe near breaking it down. Na mo be hunu say Prophet Muhammad it was 16 privileges dedicated to him alone. Number 10 no, very, very interesting. But moment first, the Hafiz Buhari ekai wa saying okay, if you the Quran, any almost sources, tafsils, ebe check the Hafiz Buhari ekano. Yeah, the common sense crampo be check bi. Na mo nyina mo be hunu said it here. Moment Hafiz Buhari e wa say.
So what I was trying to say is that in Islam we practice what we call limited polygamy. You can marry only 4. You can't go beyond that. Right? You marry 4 per.
So what about those that marry 6 and 10?
No. You can't marry 6.
But Muhammad married more than 4.
No. That is what we call at-ta'assus.
Okay.
There's a clause to that.
Yeah, the prophets have special laws sometimes.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
How?
You see, this is the problem. People, when we talk about special laws, they thought it is always sweet. They thought it is always roses. There are some laws that is given to the prophet we cannot follow.
Of course.
You know, the prophet does not take sadaqah. He does not eat like gift.
Okay.
Or zakah. If we pay zakah, he can't eat. It is haram for him and his entire household.
Wow.
So when you bring money, the Islamic money, let me tell you something. There was a day he was with his wife in the room. Their lantern, the oil inside it got finished. The prophet was living right behind the mosque, and he was in charge of the Muslim coffers. Yeah. Now the wife was like, "Ya can you do? Minkofa, even say and
the oil.
Yeah, let's use kerosene for example. But they were using oil. Minkofa bimbe gumuna. Adiasao. The person said, no, this is not for us.
It's for the church.
It's for the ummah. It's for the community. You can't use it. It's even against me to use something like that. But any individual Muslim who is in hardship,
they go take.
You are allowed to go to the coffers and take something. That is why the Prophet ﷺ lived like a poor person. He never had anything. The Prophet
was he poor?
The Prophet was subhanallah. The Prophet was lying down. He sleep on mats. And you can see the marks on his body. And his Sahaba like, Prophet, we know the kings of Qusra, the kings of the Caesars and the Persian kings, the Roman kings are living affluently. We have the money, we can do more than that. Why are you suffering like this, Prophet?
Oh, sorry.
He couldn't have just said, okay, Munsi, Mumpem, Mame, and the Prophet lived a minimalist, a minimalist life. He actually prayed to God that Allahumma ahyini miskina wa amitni miskina. Oh my Lord, give me just the barest minimum. So he didn't have anything. When the Prophet died, the only thing he left, and even with that, he gave it to Sadaqah before he died, was 7 coins. 7 pieces of coins, silver coins. Before he died, he asked Nana Aisha, his wife, to go and give it out to the poor.
Okay.
So he didn't leave anything for his wife.
He didn't leave. The prophets are not allowed to leave anything as inheritance, like worldly inheritance.
So what about all the money?
Wow.
What about all the money they made from the Jewish and non-believers?
It's for you see, you can just check. All the monies are for the community. That is why Islam developed and spread. That is why, you see, Islam is the source of education and intelligence. You know, the first university was built by a Muslim woman. The first university in the entire world was built by a Muslim Fatima. So, you see, that is where the knowledge started from. He was investing into the lives of the ordinary Muslims. And, you know, the Prophet told himself, because he know that from God, in Islam, this is your house. If you are here, and you sleep with belly full, I'm going to say belly full. And the next door neighbor is hungry.
Yeah.
Islamically, you are not a believer. If you are cooking and someone can smell the aroma,
And the person don't have.
and the person don't have,
How would you know he doesn't have?
Now, the alcohol
Oh, send that one
is
again. Yeah.
Baby,
No,
honest, what did they?
figuratively, what it means is that we have to be each other's keeper.
Yeah.
So that is why
Support each other.
That is why when you know sometimes that's why when you come to this Muslim community, giving is a habit. You don't keep, you give. And the Prophet never had anything. So there are some laws. See, the Prophet has to wake up every night and pray. We cannot do that. The Prophet has so many laws which is against him. And people don't know, I don't know what to me what to say. But they don't know the others. See, so the prophets have special laws for them.
Okay. I am say munyina mate video na me born is here no. This is what Hafiz Buhari on social media was saying. We say no enye me video how me hu no sada ma born nyina entirely e dey akere mo. Now let's break it down. Say mo hu how our kasafa the prophet hono. Say based on kakra bimpo na miminim no onu krapo kan wo video ni mu say Prophet Muhammad is exempted from marrying up to 4. He can marry more than 4, which he did. He did marry more than 4. Sometimes you hear say he married 9. In different sources, 11, sometimes 12, sometimes 13. Okay. But for sure say 4 there, it was above. How now a person will portray say the prophet was poor? A man with 9 wives. TBO. How can a man with 9 wives, and he is the provider for these wives, no? These wives don't work because the man is the provider. Say what I say. But he's poor. These wives, they all have their places that they are living. They are not all living under one roof. But he's poor. It ain't possible. Every day, be the wives, he has to cater for all these wives, but he's poor, according to Hafiz Buhari. To we say yanko sources be emo krampono, that's a Miami JG, based on what I know now. Then it say when you're poor, so poor no wafa ema bebre say they are tono. Is he a good man and I say a bad person? If he cannot cater for all these women, based on the Hafiz Buhari canon, so be Tigana CCA, that's why you're very poor. Oni be poor or the son Kenya do unya a year or the son Kenya because they were poor. But he keep on marrying, no or worry, no or ma or minna apartment to stay in. Based on we say no, why a good man and that's why a bad man. Based on SAS and what I say, and to be a common sense in Pono, say me the JJ the Hafiz Buhari kana. It's hard for me to believe say he was a poor man. For having all these wives, and he is the provider for all these wives, It's hard for me to believe, say, or you're a poor man. So they make kind of say, baby, what's on a platform, these hosts, and then a co-host, they are not there to debate him. So they can only ask questions, and then he will give them the answers. Now, on who say Islamically correct, So what, me so be mame, the minim for Islam, now also the idea, or they are quiet and now they are protected yourself. Say, Obi baby chan trubia chrewa, no one will say, okay, yes, Anna, almost saw some poker. Because Obi ton adiamawa, I don't know a different. So Obi bopusia, I know the bubble siano, and yen why the chia. How dear Ziana. I know I'm the better that I'm already about sumuno, so by be jay or sumna, and yen the same anona no de and over ebekasa. This was again, okay. Momenti Hafiz Buhari, na yen pensen, and sama okakano, emu ha say, maintain.
To say is that in Islam we practice what we call limited polygamy. You can marry only 4. You can't go beyond that. Right? You marry 4 per.
So what about those that marry 6 and 10?
No. You can't marry 6.
But Muhammad married more than 4.
No. That is what we call at-ta'assus.
Okay.
There's a clause to that.
Yeah, the prophets have special laws sometimes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Okay. Also in Islam they practice limited polygamy. Okay, we say they more practice polygamy, yeah, up to 4, but polygamy. It is another belief of be so. What they say now, so more permit or more men to marry up to 10. They can also say we practice limited polygamy. So another belief we practice up to 20. They can say we practice limited polygamy. You practice polygamy, simple and any. Okay, we say they mentioned that in the CBBano. But on one account of us saying say Prophet Muhammad. And on cancer 4 no. He has special privileges. So what I say. San no kan you men put am kan wa kan to honom no. Ye be yen to aso moment here.
How?
You see, this is the problem. People, when we talk about special laws, they thought it is always sweet. They thought it is always roses. There are some laws that is given to the prophet we cannot follow.
Of course.
You know, the prophet does not take sadaqah. He does not like gift
Okay.
or zakah. If we pay zakah, he can't eat. It is haram for him and his entire household.
Wow.
Someone say the Okan wa say no. Was it the prophet cannot take sadaqah? And I say zakah. But sadaqah na Okan no interested to me because Quran no eka something different. I mean kind Quranic verse no ha say na mu nyina mu hunu bi wa say okay. Quran chapter 9 verse number 103. Okay, into Quran chapter 9, verse number 103. Ekan wa say clearly say, take from them, take from their wealth, O prophet, charity to purify and bless them, and pray for them. Surely your prayer is a source of comfort for them, and Allah is all hearing, all knowing. It ways clearly take from their wealth, charity to purify and bless them. The Prophet Muhammad should take from their wealth, sadaqah. He should take into these people, no contest. And say these people didn't go to a certain war. Tabuk and answer baby sir. There was a war now, man could be. And now, Omuba back, no Prophet Muhammad. They wanted to give Prophet Muhammad something. Say, Obi Oman to me, could be saying no because of Major Padiano no manko. And they wanted to give Prophet Muhammad something. Then Prophet Muhammad denied taking it from them. Then Allah revealed the revelation. And Allah reveals our revelation whereby I said, Prophet Muhammad should take it. And Allah permit Prophet Muhammad to take sadaqah. Say what they say. Or say Prophet Muhammad is not allowed. So I'm not shaking it, but Quran chapter 9, verse 103. It says Muhammad should take sadaqah. And then, they are purify and pray for them. TBO, Muhammad will take your money or your wealth, 1/3, and I say Bibisa things that can sources. Then he will pray for you and then purify you. So what you say now? The Quran, say the Hafiz Buhari, because Muhammad doesn't take sadaqah, no, and yes, ana Quran, eka. So I'm saying, Montema Sunye, no. Okay, the end was clear. The end was Mama verses no so no. Quran chapter 9, 103. Mama verse.
So when you bring money, the Islamic money, let me tell you something. There was a day he was with his wife in the room. Their light, their lantern, the oil inside it got finished. The prophet was living right behind the mosque, and he was in charge of the Muslim coffers. Yeah. Now the wife was like, "Ya can you do? Minkofa." Even say, and
the oil.
Yeah, let's use kerosene for example. But they were using oil. Minkofa bimbe gumuna. Adiasao. The person said, "No, this is not for us.
It's for the church.
It's for the ummah. It's for the community. We can't use it. It is even against me to use something like that."
one thing made the maker was saying the main kasa oboa. Sa story or cano. I don't know. Minim story no. But one more reference bia you bet me akwa check ya hwe. Se sana story na etie anasa nyesa na etie. Me the minti minka. It's a wa would see up we say unnim story no. Na wo reference no ho no ma. Bet me drop no comment section ho. Na me dey ya adusua. Na metimi ehunu say be story bi sa ho no ma mpa. Because me person me trust the omodo o ma no cano. Okay, the omodo o ma no cano. Sometimes we go check book no e different. Enti wo say atiasa omukani edum omupese omukoko fa bi wo abonten mosque no no prophet Muhammad say for the nation enye for ono no ntimi nkonkofa. But the same omu sources me dey make am with the Bible screen so no e wo hono mu krampo say mamenkan very interesting source are called to be omu scholars ni bi no are called to be source tafsir and o cancer statement we say no okay or say he Prophet Muhammad was permitted to take food and drinks from the hungry and thirsty. TB. Prophet Muhammad was permitted to take food and drink from the hungry and thirsty, even if those with him feared for their lives. Due to God's statement, the Prophet Muhammad is allowed to take food and water from the thirsty people and hungry people for himself. He is permitted to do so. Okay. God can say the prophet is closer to the believers than their own selves. It's because of that statement, every Muslim is obligated to protect the prophet with his own life. So with his own life. And he is trying to portray Prophet Muhammad to us and then say he will not do such a thing. But this is the permitted now. Okay, and na make am me the big screen so into a good screen so I would do when you be I'll quote to be Quran chapter 33 verse number 50 tafsir sana I'll quote to be eka wo hono. Okay, into yes antwa the video no so no I am breaking it down.
But any individual Muslim who is in hardship,
Oh, they go take.
you are allowed to go to the office and take something.
Or say any individual Muslim we there or a hardship no you are allowed to go anything can mosque be any hobby because every time and we know somebody is in need of something clear say a core Muslim communities now we see a lot of people in hardships there you call Ghana see a lot of people is in hardship. Who call mosque who crampo Friday now be drop until one. Some people are sitting there begging. A lot of people are in hardship. Are you saying that they can come to the mosque and take whatever they want because they are in hardship? Question amibu so. Say they on all canon. Say obia or hardship bumbiano. Say mosque not to kerosene see one. Say omode protected and that's omode best sort keni ana one mosque come say the be a man for be asori a ombenya nkani ana yusu obo ba hye ofie unyes kanto bob ubetime ba mosque kono ma ba betu mosque bob de akofie because you are in hardship you cannot afford sana oka unya kunya ntena so akunya u carpet ni bibi I don't know and how na ono portray we dey akere wono so what the ba reality mu a very very difficult very difficult but sana oka. Hey, what can I say? Okay.
That is why the Prophet ﷺ lived like a poor person. He never had anything. The Prophet
was he poor?
The Prophet
the Prophet lived like a poor person. He never had anything. And I make can say, how can someone who has nothing, he never had anything, have more than 9 wives? And Obia one apartment, and also Obia one the place of living. A poor man, he has nothing. And he is the provider for all of these women. How? So when I am person, what the why you know statements now what can never quite in him. And Obusa was he poor? The brother way Busana say, was he poor? Yen to us okay. Munti do Obeka.
The prophet was lying down. He sleep on mats
Mrakete.
And you can see the marks on his body. And his sahabat like, prophet, we know the kings of Qusra, the kings of the Caesars and the Persian kings, the Roman kings are living affluently. We have the money, we can do more than that. Why are you suffering like this, prophet?
Oh, sorry.
He couldn't have just said, okay, munsi mumpem pabi mame na mensuni njua kakra. The Prophet lived a minimalist, like a minimalist life. He actually prayed to God that Allahumma ahyini miskina wa amitni miskina. Oh my Lord, give me just the barest minimum. So
and the say the worker was saying this is okay. The prophet da kete so na kete no ayden marks ne awon the body ho anase bibisa. We are speaking about long time ago, okay? I know that there is no issue, no problem, but say a son or tear, so I can tell we say no ne Aisha Edaso. And on other wives in the same category on that so. And I only provided for all. And a Quran it say Prophet Muhammad get 1/5 of the booty. So muko bebiana mumianko privileges now according to their own scholars no. A word for Prophet Muhammad no. The reason why we say no Prophet Muhammad privileges or say privileges be honoma is so heavy. Okay, but yeah, her privileges ba kumbi suwa e wa say na for only Prophet Muhammad. And when heaviness na no. Because was the portray Prophet Muhammad say Prophet Muhammad very poor. Time be on beko war no. So munya ajapade bia na the fe wo mu no. The fe man is the best quality one no ekoma Prophet Muhammad. The best of the booty no ekoma Prophet Muhammad. And Prophet Muhammad is a portion can see a chain will be what is there? And so we are very poor. Omuko war no omunya ajapade na bobi omuko ye plunder amanfo ne ma na omo saba efie no. Prophet Muhammad nya bi chain will be but he is very poor according to this sheikh. Someone said the meteors moment kind ukai tafsir our code to be for Quran chapter 33 verse number 50. May come from Quran KSU Education. Quran from Saudi Arabia page or more official Quranic page. E hono na we wo. Enti we say don't me me kan kire me say a website be anase be say dabi. Particular they make kan kire me we say no. Me nya free the official Saudi Arabian Quranic page. E hono wo. Say na our code to be catch and I say or more catch say the privileges 16 privileges are Prophet Muhammad ewo. Mommy her privileges no. I'm on count how many times it has to deal with women and I say it has to do with women. Yenkai okay or say and for what was permitted to him peace and blessings be upon him is total 16. First, the choicest part of the spoils of all war. I said the best part, no. The choicest part of the spoils of war. So the best part, no, it belongs to Prophet Muhammad. Second, exclusive possession of 1/5 or 1/5 of the spoils of war. Another benefit, and about 1/5 for Prophet Muhammad there. And some Muslims not check the account. Into one another benefit. The best one, no, Ebeko Muhammad honum. And a 1/5 of the Nina so Eko Muhammad honum. And Yemen America. We translation, no. We a translation from their own website honum and translate Google translation, translate in the Arabic, no. Those who speak Arabic and they are honest and then everything is clear. There is no doubt what is going on here. And a word to crampona or mu use no honum totally different. Ubetini maybe ase. Third one, continuous fasting. Whatever that means. Continuous fasting. Fourth one. Have more than 4 wives. That would say privileges. Have more than 4 wives. Fifth one. Marriage by way of gift. Marriage by way of gift. Sixth. Marriage without guardian. That means the Prophet Muhammad can take somebody and marry the person without the permission of the guardian of the person. Possible. Permitted for him. Okay. Now, the word marriage in Saman for TB, say marriage now. they assume say and I say they understand of the marriage now or nim no they attribute to we say there been this in Islam the use the word marriage, you know. But another word be one of my friend yastanki. So I hope say I'm pronouncing it word. Yastanki, you know, translate it and also as married. Yastanki. Okay, but I know to have sexual intercourse. To have sexual intercourse. That word, you know, yastanki, you know, to have sexual intercourse. To have sexual intercourse, okay. And to say be the number 5, you know, okay, number 5, number 6, and number 7. That privilege is 5, 6, and 7. No? The word used in the Arabic yastanki, to have intercourse. But almost translated and also as marriage. To say nikah. So what and also about him. And that number 5, marriage by way of gift, you know. To say your money gift now. To say Maria the cooked. Obey me I know my have yastanki. I hope they may pronounce the word in the but for 2 3, okay. 5, you know. Marriage by way of gift. 6, marriage without guardians. He can yastanki. Okay, yastanki, you know. He can do it without the guardians. Will be anyone who need guardians be a bit my answer. According to we say no. But someone take care of number 10. Okay. Number 7, marriage without a dowry. They say obetimi awale o ma o gift bia any permitted for Muhammad. The one way saying among for who say permitted for him all most about women. And twaso. Okay. Number 8, his marriage while in the state of Iram, ritual consecration. And they mean to me explain what saying, but I think say obetimi no oba na bibibion while there is still some ritual things because of honum. But I mean, person can't be a shower, but you can see what I say. More to come. Number 9, the exemption from dividing his time equally between his wife, which will be discussed later. Tebio and the Quran it say in the Quran a Muslim no, if you know you cannot be just with your wives now, if you cannot treat them equally now, you should marry one. So what I say now. The Quran Muslims no said they should marry one if they know they cannot treat the other wives no equally. They marry one. Prophet Muhammad is being exempted according to privilege. We say he doesn't have to treat them equally. According to Quran number 9 on the exemption from dividing his time equally between wives. And the obetime treating the wife way favorable. Obetime can say maybe we want them maybe 2 days, maybe maybe for 6 hours. Maybe we want them for 1 day. Maybe we say it doesn't have to be equal. So maybe we want 24 hours. Maybe we want 24 hours. This is not from me. This is what I am reading from Quran KSU, Saudi Arabia 4 page. And I'm making way free. Nyame me 3 masem. Ojubetime check here. Quran chapter 33, verse number 50. Tafsil al-Qurtubi. Will reference baby I mean we free no. Okay. No number 9 no. Number 10. Muntie be number 10 na me bon hu de no. Or say if his gaze fell upon a woman, if his gaze fell upon a woman, her husband was obligated to divorce her. TBO. And it becomes permissible for him to marry her. So what is that? Marry now, me because I'm using the word marry now. Yastanki now, me can't before no. Mun check what the meaning of yastanki. I hope say me pronounce no correct it here, but I mean Arab need to okay. And based on this number 10 privilege now, a war prophet Muhammad and Kwadiano. A Muslim is not supposed to gaze on other women, let alone a married woman. But they are telling us to say Prophet Muhammad, this woman is married. But said, or no follow for this woman. And I said, if he gaze on this woman, that's all follow for that woman now. The husband of that woman is obligated. So what say? The husband is obligated to divorce her. And it becomes permissible for Muhammad to have her. Privilege for Prophet Muhammad. And to one on that's a Prophet Muhammad who wife. Let's say be a or follow for wife now. Unya who sign as a Prophet Muhammad a follow for wife now. And what's a wujai wife no? divorce no. It is obligated for you to divorce him. Her. Said the Beya Prophet Muhammad bit me nyano. Privilege for only Prophet Muhammad. And say me mamu references. And to shake or no the all catch say you will never be one of my Prophet Muhammad the man no. One my references be out. One thing or kind and say Prophet Muhammad should wake up every night to pray. Muslims need be the bia. Mo pray 5 times a day. Mo sorry how much bomb pie. Be the bia. Okay, but I don't know. One my reference be but me the me mamu baby reference clear. If the prophet eyes fail, gaze, okay, upon you have to do what? Divorce. Okay, if Muhammad look at a woman and desires her, okay, make another translation for now. Say no, if Muhammad looks at a woman and desires her, then it is necessary for her husband to divorce her and for Muhammad to marry her. Privilege for Muhammad. What happens? Lower your gaze. This woman is married. Jesus, and know the difference between Prophet Muhammad and Jesus Christ. Or see, if you look at a woman and you lust, what they say now, and you can commit adultery. But in Islam, according to their own sources, not according to me, the prophet, the best example, he lost a married woman. And then he can fail, desire this woman, and the husband then has to divorce this woman. And then the prophet can have her. And then there is an example already in Islam. There is an example. Prophet, Onwane adopted son, Onwane adopted son. The wife, or fall for the wife, based on Omoamo sources, then the adopted son had to divorce the wife, so the beya obenya ono afano, okay, awale no. Okay. Inti yankone number 10. Okay. Number 11. Maybe I'm 11. That he freed Safiya and made her freedom a dowry. To omuko war, another war be Safiyan, okay? And also omukunkum amanfo na omo chase I marry as captives, no. And one of his own people, no companions, no, ekofa a woman we say Safiyan, no. And one of the people no be catch Muhammad say companion we ekofa gay we say Safiya we say no. But gay no on the best from that nation, no. And no Muhammad mom deserve no. Until the first one here, Muhammad will get the best of the booty, no. To mukofa again, by Safiya ne buy no. And Muhammad can say there be company no kofa foforo. Na Safiya ma emere. He stay on the chain. And no Safiya we say e be Muhammad wife. Until Muhammad release no from being a slave. And no the price for his marriage, you know. What they say that the unye slave will be until just my tria waka. Or gift for your marriage, no. After all, you're my wife. Say what you're saying. Until Muhammad can do that. Who won't mean yes, sir? So it is. Number 12. Entering Mecca without Ihram. And there is a difference of opinion regarding this among us. Number 13. The fighting in Mecca. Muhammad is allowed to do so. 14. That he did not leave an inheritance. And I think it's Sheikh Hafiz. Muhammad did not leave an inheritance. Okay, this was mentioned in the section of analysis because when a man is near death from illness, most of his properties is lost, leaving him with only a third. The main thing was saying, say, "Oh, the end so if the prophet didn't leave any, how was his wives able to survive? Because nobody is allowed to marry his wives, no. And men are the protectors of women. Men have to cater for women. This one, Muhammad also was poor, based on Hafiz Buhari. So how was the wives surviving? No man, no working. How were they surviving? All these 9+ wives. That is a question that also puts on, okay. The prophet the prophet's property remain as peace be upon. Okay, translation now I'm back clear what I'm saying, okay. Explaining this verse of inheritance in Surah Maryam, provided further details. Number 15, his marital status continuing after death. To walewa owukura stay we and the wife. Okay? Owu we and the wife. 16, if he divorced a woman, she remains forbidden to him and cannot remarry. Okay? And he say onu jai oba no forbidden. Ontimi sa mema wale oba ni bion. And answer baby sa na ompa chire. Ameka bio. If he divorced a woman, she remains forbidden to him and cannot remarry. It will no jai oba na ontimi sa mefa oba na ema wale ni bion. Muslims in the omu jai oba na ombeti sa before oba na ba wale ni bion. Okay? At least no for the third time no na omuntimi nye bion. But first second time they ombeti me. And say for the third time no krampo I just oba na ni obi fufuro kwakoye bibi and son ombeti me ba be dey. Ani be man sa ba wale. But 16 privileges now for Prophet Muhammad no ebiniye. Does this sound say this man is poor? Based on their own references, no. Does it sound say he was a poor person? Ena nyankopon obo soro ne asase. What send the prophets bebre? We say nkwade ne yesronko. Privileges. I don't know say we say no privileges a opinion on this accord to be in India and the minimum there. But omuntimi making up things about their prophet. And is it allowed in Islam for them to make things about their prophet and share any grounds to be so what did they make? And I we say no and share say ni platform hunubi so official Saudi Arabia platform so na wo omu page University of Saudi Arabia KSU EDU ehonum na wo Quran.ksu.edu. Check it where. And when the Sheikh is speaking now you don't know, say all these things now, privileges, we say, I don't know, to come to spread message and also to take the wives of people. Is it coming to lead you to heaven, to God, and also to take people's wife? That's what I say now. That is what you have to think about. Okay? Into the Hafiz Buhari council. The poor prophet, according to Hafiz Buhari.
So he didn't have anything. When the Prophet died, the only thing he left, and even with that, he gave it to Sadaqah before he died, was 7 coins. 7 pieces of coins, silver coins. Before he died, he asked Nana Aisha, his wife, to go and give it out to the poor.
Okay.
So he didn't leave anything for his wife.
He didn't leave. The prophets are not allowed to leave anything as inheritance, like worldly inheritance.
So what about all the money?
Wow.
What about it?
I would say the prophet the prophet is not allowed to leave anything inheritance for the wives. Maybe Busa whole question this say, so how were the wives surviving after he died? Who was providing for these wives? Where were they living? Where were they staying? Men are the protectors of women, according to Quran. It's understanding somebody can explain this clearly for us. Okay. Indeed.
All the money they made from the Jewish and non-believers.
It's for you see, you can just check. All the monies are for the community. That is why Islam developed and spread. That is why, you see, Islam is the source of education and talent. You know, the first university was built by a Muslim woman. The first university.
What you say, this is like, he's swerving away from what he asked him. Says, "Kana munya yano." So moko na moko ye moko attack moko ye jihad. Na mo de skana mu ewehefa. Now he's speaking about university. He's trying to say something nice about Islam. So said me patrano. Obaje says that university no so enye no krempo. Enye no credit say that was the first university now. Say they were no canon. Because that year no. So say before that year na university now okasafa hono. Ubogusu say before that year no, was there a university before that year? University bebre or hono. And a lot of universities were there before the okasafa hono. But where was he that poor? That was the question. We know the Prophet Muhammad received gifts, charity, in order for him to purify and pray for people. We know that if you go to war, Muhammad gets the best of the booty. He gets 1/5 of the booty. The other verses, baby, one of my proves that Muhammad received anima baby. So if Muhammad was so poor and he is the yardstick now, Saudi Arabia, does it feel poor to you? How now even they treat the mosque of Muhammad? How now they treat the graveyard? Does that look poor to you? Omunya sunnah na say sunnah. Think about all these things, no. We investing in honum. Never how many Muslims or most of our other countries, including my own country, Ghana. Where? Munti do baba can be on class account be on the company every single grab on moment. It is home with the wild junior seminar kind of honor. But my references, they minim na metre because me person my amount for some protection to protect themselves. Now a victim of a deceiver. That's what I say. Said there was some channel. So I trade a wasem. So we did this at the work coming in now. No credit because on the air wasem. Mama references my genesis so but me a dream home say a man with all these kind of wives, you know, a man at his standard, no, cannot be that poor, say they on no portrait there, you know. Okay? But I'm living okay. Me ni car crampo. But I cannot say I am poor. But to somebody I'm very poor. So what is saying? To a rich man, to somebody, no, the richest person is poor to somebody. And the poor in what sense? So, and the made me say, no, somebody is in Ghana. We put it much richer than a lot of people here. And the poor in what sense? So what is that? What's what you know who say poor in what sense? In
the entire world was built by a Muslim Fatima. So you see, that is where the knowledge started from. He was investing into the lives of the ordinary Muslims. And you know, the Prophet told himself, because he know that from God in Islam, this is your house. If you are here and you sleep with belly full, I'm going to say belly full. And the next door neighbor is hungry.
Yeah.
Islamically, you are not a believer. If you are cooking and someone can smell the aroma,
and the person don't have.
How would you know he doesn't have?
So I would say, and the partner say, if you are cooking and somebody is your next door neighbor, no, is hungry and I say doesn't have now, you are not a Muslim. Maybe say no what can we say. But the point and then say, you hear or more pay baby atna. War as Islamic countries are war as or honoma. There was Saudi Arabia honum or G foreigners or G or more money baby tino or more running away from war. No. Mudru Islamic countries honum na mutra eba baby Europe mu pay Italy in Spain. People Muslims know or sister Muslims mumenti with the mumenti or bekaka. Okay, mumenti.
Figuratively, what it means is that we have to be each other's keeper.
Yeah.
So that is why.
So it's a figurative, no? What it means is you have to be each other's keeper. And the Muslims, you see, Palestine for Omuwa Huchrim, Omoko attack Israel for Israel for Twasha Omoso. Egypt for Ben Omo. Egypt for close to doors. Adentra. Egypt for close to doors. Egypt, the Bombay say be a Israel for an Ometra wall, afa Palestine hono. Egypt for so extra war. And say we have to care about each other. Yeah, many countries now, Islamic countries they don't want to accept their own people. It's also as a Islam. I don't know what can I say. It doesn't mean for Yahweh say what they say, no, it may sound nice, but in reality, no, it look different. Ubagana ziana uko Islam Muslim community bebre wo honom na they all can apply wo honom amam for butter amam for trade bia mo chile amo dress o mo hye o ma amam for bebre so tete form o mo tete baby o mo bedi crampa is difficult. And what they say, no, and what it is in reality is different. So I'm saying you're aware. men tie amanfo ano de man fan ko follow baby a obelusu okra daache what you say na fanu ko trim ento aso I think say see we but yen hwe de obeka ka ho bio
Each other.
That is why when you know sometimes that's why when you come to this Muslim community, giving is a habit. You don't keep, you give. And the Prophet never had anything. So there are some laws. See.
So what say the Muslim community they give, but a bano ye ko Muslim community ye hunu ye hwe general Muslim communities now omo honom ne de wo asisi Syria ne de keka kan wo asisi honom no omo dwane afro mu kro mu honom na omo dwane nko Muslim community omo dwane nko Muslim country adentra Muslim country ni bie doors no e welcome omo adentra that what enti
The Prophet has to wake up every night and pray. We cannot do that. The Prophet has so many laws which is against him. And people don't know.
The Prophet had so many rules which is against him. And to be saying because we know about the privileges now he has about women, no? And to educate us about the ones now we don't know. So what I say? And I can benefit and who say, oh, okay, say and only Rosy side and kwanya and yet be dead and kwan unyae. And yet no kwan unyae. The way say so honum. You should have educated us too.
Or no worry, or no kwan, I don't know to me what I say. But they don't know the others. See, so the prophets have special laws for them.
Etibate and the no and a year canon. And correct. Laws, privileges, we say, oh, Prophet Muhammad war. But the end, no, you could have educated us too. Men can say he has some things that is even against him. Even saying, my example, no. So, oh, sorry, they be no bumpire, you piano. You almost be made the same things. 5 times a day, I'm a bumpire. I'm sorry. With clear. Okay, to me, who video be saying, no, the person me young video. Now, me so me can't dim na amount for so the year this year. Said ye beya ubiya intimin that. According to Islamic source, authentic pages, KSU, Saudi Arabia for homepage for the Quran and the Tafsir. The whole na minya sa referencing now about the 16 privileges for Prophet Muhammad. And the Quran, as I can say, Prophet Muhammad should receive charity, sadaqah, and pray and purify people. And to receive money to pray for people and purify them, no, it is in the Quran. So what say Muhammad. So which Jessica everything about Payama, they are cleaning with sense. Quran, Muhammad in a Quran. And that's Allah and permitting Muhammad so one Quran. So Muhammad Moko war now, the best of the booty, and I said 1/5 of the booty, Bibisano, Eba Muhammad ne chefano kese chen will be and so you say why you're poor. Let all these things sink in. So okoshe hadith muna Prophet Muhammad had me can say wives going around having intercourse with all his wives, taking one bath. A prophet be on his spare time no way in the Juma. So we need the privileges of Muhammad going around having sexual intercourse with his wives. And so he was poor. So what I said, that was a word to me. I'm for who say how poor Prophet Muhammad is based on Hafiz Buhari, no, and how people portray the Prophet, no. So we for almost sources now. Now why we use argue the crampona, something is not working together. And never been quay or so who is saying Sethoo and the air struggle, air feature be the Abba Shahonum, and answer when you Sethoo yagene. No comment session honum. Okay. So me ye say na you say be may attack you personally. There be you have 2 sources no, you have 2 books no. Me say me follow Ajenkwa no, Yesu Kristo. Ono ne ekwan no. Enti me pese wo hunu ekwan no na wo be follow. Bibi wo osum na e de hinta wa me pese me dan na de na wo hunu bi. Saa na nkramofo bi so dwen say ene bi wo Bible no ma e de hinta ye a Kristofo. Omo so ba Bible no so be pense mu no ma amanfo ya aware. And when you attack on you, I said the bed, be yadusya, then you hunu, the book on the chile. What you say, Anna? Into Hafiz Buhari and some of the kind we say how we portray the prophet, So what they compare what the sources say, now we see why you make a crabby fan one about who say maybe in. But once again, hosts they are not there to debate him. They cannot push back too much. They cannot push back because Omubuza question they let him speak whatever he wants to say. So what I say, and they don't know. They are also a little bit ignorant about some things, not as an attack on them, because we are all ignorant in a way. Okay, until they whenever they don't know. I won't need much information. I won't bet with that question more. And until they ask the question, they will have to wait for the answer. And whatever he says, they will go back and do their own researches. Dina me wa ha say no so de minim na me de ma amanfo wa ha say no okay. Until uhunu ne saying the Hafiz Buhari kano no kretrodo anase wa polishing no person presenting the chicha amanfo. And also the me kano na me struggle bibi say bia ni honom na me na me kwakọ print Saudi Arabia full page na me de bia kwakọ hye honom na me pese me de sorry me de be deceive amanfo. Ma me hunu nyina wo comment section honom okay. Sethoo SSK. Follow me on YouTube honom no Sethoo SSK. More videos to come because my who say Hafiz Buhari that particular video we say no. Or my peace or TikTok na. A lot of them no need to be responded to. And yes, people may think say they all can no cry. So but so what the Quran any almost sources sometimes who say any man kwe. So to follow page say the buy drop will be na ube sabe kabi me a bell and also no. Say the buy if me post video so ubenya notification okay. But me who are doing so comment section honum. Then you say the mechanic I want to you can let me know. What if you want to educate me, you can let me know. There's nothing wrong for you teaching me something. I am gladly happy to learn. Okay, because maybe because I was taught wrong. It was be better now, bra. They analyze it together. Okay. Sethoo SSK for the man who be say Nyankopon asomdwe enka obia mama ba